Hey guys, I'm about to do a cold start on the 429 34 Ford Coupe. Stick around, check it out. All right guys, I'm about to do a lot of work on the old 34 rolling chassis. Show you what I got done. I got the transmission cooler lines plumbed up to the radiator. I got the radiator plumbed up. I got the starter installed. I got dual exhaust ran all the way over the rear end, not all the way back yet. I'm probably put a couple 90s just to crank it up, and I'll have to fab that up when I get the body on and figure exactly where I want the exhaust tips at. So I'm gonna do that after I get, like I said, after I get the body on. But I got them all. We're good. I got dual exhaust, turbo cherry bombs. I got the transmission shifter. Kind of stuck there temporarily with some clamps so I can shift it. And previous video showed you got the steering box, oil filter relocator. I got the fuel pump plumbed up to the carburetor. I still got to run one to put a gas tank on the floor, fuel can on the floor here to crank it up. I got the distributor stuck in there. I'm about to put fluid in the transmission. I'm using tractor hydraulic fluid for wet brakes is what I'm using. It'd be fine. I use it, that's what's in the Junkyard Dog. That's what's in Dirty John. They both work fine, so we're gonna try it here and see if it works. I don't see why not. So I'm gonna get fluid in the transmission. The engine's got oil in it. I got the spark plugs out. I'm gonna wire up the starter. Actually, I got kind of a temporary run kit that I used when I cranked it on the floor years ago. So I'm gonna get that wired up so I can spin it over, build up some oil pressure, get some coolant to the radiator, and get it on top dead center and run some plug wires. Then it should be ready to fire up. So I got oil in the engine and the rear end, need oil in the transmission, coolant in the radiator. Do a little bit more wiring, and we'll be ready to fire it up. Wish me luck. Okay, I got it wired up, battery connected, transmission a little bit over full, so I'm gonna spin it over. I got the radiator full. I got the distributor stuck in there. I got the gas line and some gas. I don't have the firing hooked up yet. I got all the plugs out. So what I want to do is spin it over, build up some oil pressure, and check the transmission again, see if it went down any. And if everything looks good there, I'm gonna go ahead and get the top dead center on number 1, get the plugs in, plug wires on, and see if it'll fire up. It it run before, should be fine. All right, spin it over, see if we get some oil pressure. Oops, got gas. Got to tighten the gas line up on the carburetor. Forgot to do that. So fuel pump works. See if I got the leak stopped. Got the leak stopped. Oil pressure. Now we got oil pressure. We're getting close. Make thunder. Okay. The water pump looks like it might be dripping a little bit. No big deal. Get a new one. I mean, it would come on at 68. This engine come out at 68 Thunderbird. Who knows? That might be the original water pump come from the factory. So yeah, I'm gonna get a new water pump, but I'm gonna crank it up first, like it is. Now I've been at it for a minute. All I got to do is plug wires up, get the top dead center on number one, and get it wired up and fire it up. So I'm getting it, I just ain't got it yet. Now I gotta get up on number one, top dead center, firing stroke. Coming up on compression right there. All right, I'm gonna get like, number one should fire like 8-10 degrees before top dead center. So I got timing marks on the harmonic balancer marked for top dead center. So I'm gonna put it about, guesstimate 10 degrees before top dead center. Something like that. Show you what I got. So there's my mark. There's the pointer and the mark. I got approximately 10 degrees before top dead center. So this should be pointing to number one. Fire on number one right there. Directly, number one. So I got the spark plug wires installed temporarily to fire up. I did check one plug, number one, to make sure it's firing, to make sure. So I got it like 10 degrees before top dead center on number one. I got it wired 1, 5, 4, 2, 6, 3, 7, 8. 1, 5, 4, 2, 6, 3, 7, 8. Counterclockwise. It should fire right up. I mean, it got gas to the carburetor already from spinning it over to pump the carburetor full of gas. It's firing. I got the timing set. Should be good to go. So this is gonna be a cold start. I can't call it first crank because I cranked it up on the floor when I built it years ago, right there on the floor. And cranked it up, runs fine. So it should still run fine. But I want to make sure everything's good, check the transmission out and all that good stuff. So here we go, see if it'll fire. Should go. Not enough oil transmission. It sucked it down. I knew it would, so no problem. Put 4 in it. I ain't touching the stick, so probably this 4. I can't believe it fired it right up. I'm talking about. And it's cold. It's cold. I mean, I ain't cranked it up. This is the first time I cranked it up in years, so. I mean, it fired right up and idle like it's supposed to. Couldn't believe it. All right, I'm gonna try it again. Need more oil. I gotta go get another bucket of oil and get that transmission filled up. Let's see, temperature. It ain't even warmed up yet. I mean, this thing purrs like a kitten, don't it? So I think I got enough oil in it now, so we're gonna find out right now. Something ain't right. It ain't supposed to be doing that. So it fired right up. I'm talking about immediately fired right up. It didn't run great. It run good, but it didn't run great. As you could tell when I first started up, it was missing, popping, all that good stuff. And I worked on it, changed the carburetor, changed the plug wires, checked the valve lash, adjusted the valves, everything I knew to do. It still wouldn't run better. So I got Wesley over here. He come over Sunday, helped me wrench on it to see if we could figure out what the problem was. And wound up putting a different distributor in it. That eBay special distributor I had in it, the little skinny one. Evidently that's what was wrong with it, I'm assuming, because I put this other eBay special distributor in it that I cranked it up with years ago when I first built it, and it run good with that, except it's got a lifter collapsing something, I don't know, but I put a new cam and lifters in it when I built it years ago, and I broke in the cam, run it for 15-20 minutes, something like that, a couple of heat cycles, I don't remember, but I got the cam broke in years ago, and it didn't have no lifter problem then. But now when you run it, if you kind of speed it up, idle it up a little bit or whatever, it gets a lifter tapping, like completely collapsed, evidently, because if you let it idle when it's doing that, it's got a dead miss in it. I mean, I never even seen a lifter collapse that bad where it'd be a totally dead miss. Usually it just rattle a little bit, but it's still, the cylinder will still fire or something, but I mean, it's a totally dead miss. And then the lifter will pump back up and it'll run fine. So minimum, I'm gonna need a set of lifters, at least one, but I'm gonna put a whole set in it. And when I pull the lifters out, I'll be able to look at the bottom of them and make sure they're not wiping out the cam lobe or anything. I mean, if they don't look good on the bottom, I have to pull the cam or replace it too. But I don't think it's wiping the cam lobe, because when I built it, I used a lot of assembly lube, and I used the engine oil with zinc in it, you know, for flat tappets. I think the cam's gonna be fine. I think it was just a bad lifter in the batch. And so I'll probably just replace the whole set with a better brand or something and see what happens. But anyway, the transmission works good. Wesley was here, went through the gears, first, second, third, works fine, reverse, everything. We got reverse, forward, 3 gears. Exhaust sounds pretty good. Actually, I think it sounds real good. And it looks good too, if I gotta say so myself. That's a pretty good looking exhaust there. And of course the tailpipe's gonna have to be adjusted when I get the body on. I find out where I want the tips coming out. I'll finish those up. But I got V-band clamps on the back of the muffler for the tailpipe so that it's easy to take off. So I can take those off and modify them and all that good stuff when I get the body on. Water pump's leaking a little bit. I got a new water pump coming, so I do. When I get back on it, I'll do that, change the water pump, lifters, and whatever I got to do to fix the engine back like it's supposed to be. And so that's the story on that. But mission accomplished. What I wanted to do while I was in the chassis like this, I wanted to run it to see what all I needed to do to make it 100%. You know, I wanted to make sure the transmission worked and the engine wasn't no major problems and all that good stuff before I start putting the body on and building it. Because it's a lot easier to work on the engine and transmission now than with the body on it. But everything's gonna be good. Main part of the engine's good, so I just had to pull the intake, hopefully just the intake, and swap lifters out. So that's the story on that. Mission accomplished. I know what I need to do now. Everything's good except for the lifters and the water pump, as far as I know. But I got the radiator for the Demon Falcon. It's a bigger radiator than what was in it, so I'm about to do some modifications to make that fit. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set the body back on this. And since I got my V-bore wheel dollies now, I get the body back on it and I shove it back over to the side out of the way and drag the Falcon up in here and see what I gotta do to make that radiator fit. So that's where we're at. All right, I got the Falcon in. I got the 34 shoved to the side. I got the cross member cut out back there because the transmission, he wants to be able to pull the transmission out, so I had to cut that. I'm about to bolt something in that fits. I was going to set the engine and the transmission back in, but I want to set the heads on it to make sure they're going to clear the steering shaft. Problem is I don't have any head bolts, none. So I'll be going to town a couple of days. I'll pick up a 4 or 5 head bolts to fit that, so I could put a couple bolts in the heads, because when I put the heads on, that's how I'm going to pick it up, is from the heads, because I ain't got no other bolt holes in the block nowhere, just a couple. So I need the heads bolted on pretty good, because I'm going to have to pick it up by the heads when I get them on. So we're done for now, but this is where we're at. 34 to the side, Falcon in the shop. All right, appreciate you. See you next time.